Good morning, my friends. Today we are working on the NJSLA practice question number 1. Question number 1 is testing you about quadratic function and some math notations. Before we start this, let's quickly recall a few math notations. 0. So someone might think, what, 0? It just is 0. However, 0 here does have a different meaning. When it asks you represent the 0 of the function, which means you need set up the function equals 0 and then solve for x. In another word, which is looking for the value of x, which can make the function equal 0. Now the function is given as f of x equal x squared plus 2x minus 8 times x minus 6. In order to solve it, we need another recall the zero product rule. A and B represent two numbers. When we have a number multiplies another number equals 0, we can say either A equals 0 or B equals 0. Now let's see if A is 0. Doesn't matter what number B is, 0 times the number equals 0. So does B. So in that case, this is my B, this is my A, and this is my B. Now A times B, and remember, we need to find out the 0. Then we need to set the function equals 0. Then if I have A times B equals 0, I can apply the zero product rule, which means I can set my x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0, and B equals 0, which is x minus 6 equals 0. Start with the easy one. Now x equals 6. Think about it, how to write it back to the coordinate form. F of x equals 0. And remember, f of x has another name, y. So for pre-algebra, most likely we use y to represent a function. And now, most likely we switch to f of x represent a function. In that case, you should know this means your y equals 0 and then x equals 6. Therefore, the coordinate form, which is x equals 6 and y equals 0. 1 point down. Second one, we can use the skill to solve quadratic function where in standard form, a, the coordinate for the leading term, which is 1, b is 2, c is negative 8. Let a times c and equal negative 8. And we need to find out factors multiplied together equal negative 8 and add them together equal your b. Here b is 2. In that case, you can see 4 and 2 are a good combination for 8, and difference is 2. Since it's positive 2, negative 8, we need to put a negative sign here. So double check. 4 times negative 2, which is negative 8. 4 plus negative 2, which is positive 2. Okay, now since we find out the combination, which is x plus 4 times x minus 2 equal 0. Now let's apply the zero product rule again, where a times b equals 0. I can say x plus 4 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. Minus 4 for both sides, x equals negative 4. Plus 2 for both sides, x equals 2. And do not forget, x is negative 4 when y is 0. X is positive 2 when y is 0. Now you have another one here. We have 3 solutions. And you can see A, B, and D are the solutions. Also, there is another way to help you if you got really confused. Think about this. When we talk about 0, we're talking about we set up the function equals 0, which means your y is 0. Now back to the graphing. Look, point G, the coordinate, which is 0, 8. Your y is 8. Y is not 0. Therefore, this point you can eliminate. So does point F, because y is 2. Y is not 0. That's not what we're looking for. Cross it out. Also for point C. Therefore, if you cross them out, which you're going to have 4 choices left over, it's easier for you to find the correct solutions. Now, also, one more thing I want to mention. If you have more than 4 choices, which means more than one correct solution you need to pick up, keep this in mind. Let's do a quick review. Question number 1 is testing you the skill about solving quadratic functions. Also, a very important mathematical word, 0, which means you need to set the function equals 0 and then solve for x. So, in order to solve it, you need to apply the 0 product rule, which means if a is 0, the product equals 0. If b is 0, the product equals 0. And then you break it down. Solve them separately. Solving quadratic function, you can find out all those coefficients of every single term and multiply A and C. Find a pair of factors, add them together equal B, and then put your 2 factors here with your x, and then apply the 0 product rule again, solve them separately. And don't forget, your solution should be in the xy coordinate form, and we found 3 of them. Back to the solution, which is at point A, point B, and point C. So this is all for question number 1.